live from Studio B here at the Beach Street Yacht Club. I trust you are well. Co-host Julia Vadakin.
I am.
Any hot tips?
I think it's. I'd rather be here than in the New England.
Yeah, but I'd rather be in Antigua, where our cover slide, our feature slide today, the feature event, which we'll get to at the near the bottom of the show. Welcome everybody. Show number 912. Let's get right to the starting line. You all know I'm your host, Tom Eamon. You know Julia. You know everything. I think.
Anybody who's here does.
Ted Ryman checking in from Cape Town. Larry Kennedy from the Great White Long Island. He didn't go into the city today. I don't blame him. Chris Fury in Melbourne. Who else is on here before we go to the starting line, Julia? Dockside Curmudgeon, the Michigan winter snowbird, is sitting on the balcony watching, listening to the shimmering surf on the Florida coast. Gulf of Mexico / America. That's Jeff Kitson from Michigan, a.k.a. the Dockside Curmudgeon. And Lance Burke is up at Lake Tahoe. Happy Tuesday and happy World Favorite Person of Many Sailors, quote unquote, day.
Oh, my.
You have any idea what that is? Who's the favorite person of many sailors? Okay, we'll get to it.
I can't
Breaking, San Diego Yacht Club, because of the Crutonicism in Mexico over the weekend, San Diego Yacht Club has had no choice but to cancel. Well, some people assert otherwise, but they've canceled the PV, the Port of Vallarta race scheduled to start this weekend. Yes. And we'll ask if that was correct or crutonic, Julie, because there are some people who think it was not the right decision. The Northeast is digging out from the blizzard of 26 with record snowfall in, and among other places, Newport, Rhode Island.
Yes, and it was you who said that. It would never happen.
Well, I said it doesn't snow very much because the ocean is right there, and the ocean and the Gulf Stream warm it up somewhat.
Right.
And you don't get a lot of snow normally in Newport. And even when I show you the slide in a minute, you'll see there's more snow inland a bit and in those bands.
I'm sure that's true, but it's still stuck.
Yeah, it's 34 inches of snow or something like that. Yeah. But I've got some beautiful slides from Corey Silken.
Oh.
Our longtime friend, superb photographer, lives in Newport. He went out and about in the snow last night.
Oh, good for him.
They're fantastic shots. Coaching corner, John Emmett. He's on board a yacht, or was when he filmed this, at Melbourne's esteemed Sandringham Yacht Club, Sandy. And Bravo Zulu, we have to talk about the Olympics a little bit. And as a former hockey player, referee, and so on, coach, got to salute our men's and women's hockey team here in the USA, both gold medal winning teams. And we're going to salute also the nation, Julia, of Norway, who came away with the most medals.
Absolutely.
Again.
I know.
Again.
And deservedly so.
They are. We're going to talk about how they achieved that Olympic success, by the way, and see if any of those lessons are applicable to our beloved sport. So, and we'll talk about that. Well, focus and more. And then I promised you from the other day, Julia, I promised you the TFE, the Simple Country Boy from Michigan, plan to revitalize the sailing Olympics. I've been sitting here watching it on the tube, the hockey and whatever else, for the curling and the skiing and the figure skate for the last 2 weeks, and thinking about our sport and television and how it's important that we get our sport going better, especially on TV and especially with nationalism and so on. And I've come up with a plan. We'll see what people think of it.
That's great.
To protect and revitalize sailing in the Olympic Games. That'll be down in the C Block. And then we have our feature, which is actually last leg, a couple of long, beautiful videos for the RORC's, the Royal Ocean Racing Club's 17th Caribbean 600. It got underway yesterday there in Paradise. So we'll salute that event and bring you some video updates. I think Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin left Antigua today to fly back to the UK, I think. I saw in a note, but he's been down there with the Maxis and so on. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. And a program note. This weekend, of course, is the upcoming, event 3 of the season, the 2026 season for Sail GP. It's in Sydney. And I'm looking at the timing of that. It's this Saturday and Sunday local time, which is Friday night and Saturday night our time. The racing is at 5:30 p.m. local time in Sydney, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. That is 06:30 the same morning, Saturday and Sunday, UTC. So those of you waking up in Europe, whether in London or on the continent an hour later, your timing is 06:30. Here for us, it's 22:30 the night before, Friday and Saturday nights at 22:30. And that, of course, is 01:30 for those of you on the East Coast here of the U.S., if you want to tune into the live television on YouTube. Should we have a watch party? I don't know. Let me think about that the rest of the week, Julia. And we'll talk about it on Friday's show when we will preview
Good.
Sail
Perfect.
GP
Perfect.
Sydney.
Perfect.
If that's okay with you.
Perfect.
Let's talk a little bit about what happened, Julia, over the weekend.
Yes.
It wasn't just in Puerto Vallarta. It was all across central and particularly southern Mexico, but a little bit up in the north too. And it was in reaction to, of course, the killing by the federales, by the national government, I assume with the help of the U.S. government, this guy who led the biggest and worst drug cartel in the country, and the deadly violence that followed. And today, a couple hours before we went to air, San Diego Yacht Club announced that they run this Puerto Vallarta race each year, a famously good race, from San Diego all the way down past Baja California to PV, which is on the mainland coast, the West Coast. Mm-hmm. They have canceled that. And the staggered starts that were to take place on the 26th, 7th, and 8th, will not happen due to the deadly violence in the Mexican region. And they've made the decision, the board of directors made the decision to cancel the 38th edition of this 1,000 nautical mile race. Here is their announcement that came out from the beautiful San Diego Yacht Club this morning. Puerto Vallarta is currently experiencing an evolving, unstable, and unpredictable security situation, to put it mildly. Although things have calmed down a little bit today, hopefully. The U.S. State Department has elevated the travel advisory level, as have a lot of other countries, to reconsider travel or more or worse. I mean, even higher level than so-called level 3, and has advised U.S. citizens to shelter in place in the state of Jalisco. Jalisco. Thank you, Julia. I didn't know you spoke Spanish so well. Additionally, authorities have reported ongoing transportation disruptions, including curtailment of operations on certain toll roads. And I mean, part of the problem is you can sail down there without probably any problem. You get there, and then what do? Turn and burn? That's a long race to turn and burn, just to dock, go across the finish line rather, and then turn and go back up to San Diego. And you got to drop some of your people off. How are they going to get home if the airport's still disrupted a little bit, although some flights got out of there today? People trying to take trailers down there to trail boats back, and race committee. It's a madness.
No, it was a good decision.
So they have pulled the plug on that race, saying that the safety of sailors, support crew, staff, and boats are of utmost importance, needless to say, taking into consideration all the information available at this time, which was this morning. The San Diego Yacht Club board has made the difficult decision to cancel the 2026 PV International Yacht Race. While we are disappointed to cancel, we intend to offer, this is beautiful, they're going to race this weekend in San Diego. They intend to offer alternate racing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend. In addition, we plan to host social events, including the traditional send-off party on Thursday.
Oh, that's all a good idea.
Exactly.
Everybody's going to be there anyway.
Exactly. And a full schedule, Julia, will be posted tomorrow, Wednesday, the 25th. So I think they've handled that about as well as they could under the circumstances. And I want to thank past Commodore, staff Commodore of San Diego Yacht Club, HP Sandy Purdon, who is a super Fozy, who's made a couple nice contributions of late for us here to help keep our streaming fees paid and our equipment up. We've done a little upgrade. People are noticing your mic, Julia. I hope your audio is improved.
I do too.
I know you hate it, having that mic right in your mouth. But having a dynamic mic right in front of you instead of having that shotgun mic we had on the Zoom or your little headset mic, which makes you sound like you're in outer space talking back to Houston.
Perhaps I am.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, I think that the audio is better. I just have to get better at it.
Well, you're fine. And you used to have a mic like
I
that.
know.
So anyway, Sandy Purdon, thank you very much for your continuing assistance and all of you who contribute to the show, whether content or otherwise. Now, there were some people not amused by this decision. So I'm asking all of you, do you think San Diego Yacht Club overreacted? Was this decision correct or croutonic? And I don't know if Jody's on. We usually give him first dibs at this since we make fun of him with his slide. But just one more piece of information. The travel advisory levels from our government, from the State Department, the blue is exercise normal precautions. So you can see there's not much of the country's blue down in the Yucatan Peninsula. Reconsider travel is the red, including up against our border for the most part, the western part of the border, and out along California, Arizona, New Mexico, and a bit of Texas. But exercise increased caution, including southern Baja, which is that's Baja California, that peninsula down here. So we, why isn't my little thingy working, Julia?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But I can't do my telestrating. But that yellow part there of Baja California is not where PV is. PV's over there on the coast in the bottom of the red. So you turn Cabo there at the bottom of the peninsula and go into the east or southeast to go to Puerto Vallarta, which is on the west coast mainland. And that's in red or yellow, so as you can see. And the dark red, which is that Jalisco, state of Jalisco, is do not travel. That's the number 4 up there above. Now, I don't know the gentleman, but this was sent earlier today by Pedro Foiling Sailor, and he said, this guy, Andy Barrow, is a great guy. He knows what he's talking about. And Julia, he's the guy that when Peter had a heart attack at the Laser Masters in Mexico some years ago, Pedro Foiling Sailor, a.k.a. Peter Stevenson, says this guy saved his life.
Yes.
So he's been talking with him, and Andy Barrow wrote on his Facebook page this morning, I'm a little angry this morning. San Diego Yacht Club canceled the PV race due to the, quote, evolving situation, unquote, here. Andy says, it's over. Even the U.S. State Department has reduced their threat level here. While I understand how people can be concerned, people need to understand the facts that this was a one-day thing. I'm not quite sure how Andy would know that for sure. No tourists were harmed. That we believe is true. There were some federal agents, Mexican security types that were killed yesterday in the gunfighting. And as of yesterday afternoon, just 24 hours later, this happened Saturday, Sunday, and then in the Monday, things were pretty much back to normal. He went on to say, that Andy Barrow did, yes, it was a very bad thing. Cars and businesses got burned and everything shut down. But by the next day, things were already coming back. And as of this morning, Monday morning or Tuesday morning, aside from some burned spots, things are pretty much back to normal. But making such a dramatic change that has a very dramatic knock-on effect, because now the Mexorc, which is a series of races that take place right after the PV race, that will also be canceled because the boats won't be feeding in there. It needs a lot of more consideration than SDYC apparently used, so says Andy. Shutting down such an important event just gave the now weakened cartels what they want: disruption. So I don't know how you all feel about that, Julia and the Fozy, but
he's probably right. But if I were making the decision to go, I would probably say not today.
Well, let's see what the Fozy are saying. Philip Laffin is still in, I think he's been there for a week or so, Davis Island in Tampa, the Davis Island Yacht Club. Greg Phillips is in the Gold Coast of Oz. He sounded funny today. Fritz Mueller, who used to play hockey, by the way. He played club hockey. He went to Tabor Academy, a great sailor as well. Hi from Miami. It's a glorious day in Miami. Chris Fury says, the barman. You know what that's in reference to? He's right, and you'll find out why in a minute. Remember that, the barman.
Okay.
Chris Fury, he gets the applause for figuring it out. He's right. So does Larry Kennedy. Kalari always messes me up. One,
Yeah.
2, 3. That's Larry Kennedy, and normally in New York, but he's out on Long Island today because of the snow. The Oracle of Wanji Day, Rick Banner wants to know. What the hell is that, Rick? Joe Holtzman, greetings from windy Estes Park up in Colorado. And Fritz Mueller saying, yeah, it's part of this snowstorm in the Northeast was not just all the snow, but it was blowing 30, 40 knots. And the stuff is piled up. I saw some pictures in front of Claire's house in Greenwich, Connecticut, and I've seen descriptions from Rick Bannerow, and it's epic. Also from a couple friends in Newport, Rhode Island. Dawn Riley, who presumably is out on Long Island, she says, hello briefly from JFK, getting out to Detroit on the very first available flight in 2 days, and possibly the only one today. It is crazy at the airports in and around New York.
I bet it is.
Correct. I think they're all talking about the Barman Day. G'day from Auckland, New Zealand. Keith J. There's a new name. Keith Jamex, 444. Welcome, Keith. And if David James over in Sausalito, if anything unpleasant had happened, the wretched tort system, now David's a lawyer, so he can talk about the tort system with great authority, would have fleeced the organizers, so the SDYC had choice. I want to come back to that.
Had no choice
because we're still asking, was it correct or Crutonic to call this off? Clay Embley saying, yeah, it's over, but possibly, but SDYC still has to think about liability. He's saying the same thing as David. Larry Kennedy saying, err on the side of caution. Chris Fury wants to know what he wins for calling it the barman. Well, we'll buy him a drink next time we're together. Clay Embley says, I've worked in some of the biggest S-hole countries in the world, but I am not going to go somewhere where I have to worry about my guys when we were supposed to be having fun.
Good point.
And Dockside Curmudgeon, good decision. Too many unknowns at this time. So I don't see too many people supporting Mr. Andy Barrow, in his assertion that SDYC was overly cautious.
Especially since they're doing a whole program.
Well, since they're doing it in San Diego, they're replacing their, good point. But I think the other thing, Julia, is that as you well know, in addition to the liability, here's, I think, the real problem, is that with this S fight going on, potentially continuing, we'll see if it continues, but nonetheless, having happened in Mexico over the weekend, and you're the insurance carrier on one of those boats, are you going to cancel the insurance?
Maybe.
You're going to call the owner up and say,
oh, by the way,
if you go down there, your coverage is going to get, because of that issue down there. So I suspect that's part of why San Diego Yacht Club called off. I think it's a wise decision. I agree with most of you. Terrorism by their name, it's everywhere. So says Yves Marie Tonton, the famously good yacht designer from France originally, obviously. Okay, enough of that. They made the decision. They made it quick. They were cutting through butter with a hot knife, and I think that was the right thing to do. And they're quickly going to reconfigure, Julia, as you said, the weekend.
I think it'd be more fun.
And it should be fun in San Diego. Now to the Northeast, we can't not talk about this because some of these are records.
Yes.
Who knows how long they've been keeping records going back, but I'm sure that at some time in the deep, dark past, they've had more snow than this. And of course, I grew up in Michigan where a couple, 3 feet of snow, it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, we revel in it. And my dad would get out on the tractor. He loved it because he got to spend his day on the tractor, clearing the driveway, clearing the neighbors' driveways, telling us what to do with our snow. He never snow shoveled. He made us snow shovel.
That's why it's smart, and he's lasted so long.
Well, he's a bit older, I hope he doesn't get on the snow shovel at age 90, whatever he is now, 3. But they got a lot of snow in this band of, these are Rhode Island towns on the east, or rather on the west side of Narragansett Bay. And of course, Newport's at the bottom of Narragansett Bay on the east side, 34 inches.
Wow.
So that's a fair bit of snow. Claire Harrington sent that slide in off the coastal ABC. That's Channel 6 in Providence this morning. Then Corey Silken, as I said at the top of the show, our longtime friend, this is his gallery there on Bannister's Wharf.
Great picture.
And if you get to Newport and you're going especially to Clark Cook House or to the any of the place, the candy store, but the Black Pearl down there on Bannister's Wharf. Check it out. There's another, that's Clark Cook down there on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously, you can see the sign. That's looking to the west on Bannister's Wharf, where Ted Turner used to keep his boat and some of the other 12s back in 77. I've never heard of this. This must be a fairly recent pub, but I haven't been in Newport for a couple of years, and even if, well, I didn't go to the Fastnet pub, but you can see what it looks like. There is, I don't know if that's Newport Shipyard, what used to be called Newport Shipyard, and it's now called whatever the one of that big group that bought the whole thing, a bunch of marinas and shipyards up all over the country. Yeah, you can see the Newport Shipyard logo there on the left. Blake Middleton saying it looks like Minnesota's slow snow levels.
Yes.
There's another shot of the boat still in the water. A lot of people leave their boats in the water because the water does not freeze. It's salt water, of course, and it is somewhat warmer than freezing temperature. Safe Harbor, thank you, Baton Rouge. That's the name of the big company that has bought up a bunch of marinas all over the country. Mm-hmm. Another Corey Silken photo, this of the Newport Yacht Club, not to be confused with New York or Ida Lewis or Coasters Harbor or Connecticut, but the original Townie Yacht Club, Newport. It's in the northeast corner of the harbor. They conduct frostbiting. I wonder if they'll frostbite this weekend. Probably. Yeah, Claire's saying Newport Shipyard / Safe Harbor Marina. Thanks, Claire. Mm. And here's another shot looking down Bannister's Wharf to the Clark Cook there on the left. What do you think of that, Julia?
I think it's a great picture.
And again, you can see the drifting there on the right because of everybody's been saying how windy it was in New York City, all up through Connecticut, where Claire and where Rick Bannerow and others live, and up into Rhode Island as well.
Speaking of which, I have not received any reply from our friends in Rhode Island. Have you?
What friends?
The Fafs.
Oh, I haven't heard from the Fafs in at least a week. I talk to them on the phone every now and then. Past Commodore.
Yeah, I do too, but
Rick Pfaff. No, I haven't heard. You mean since the snowstorm?
Yeah.
No, I haven't called them. I should call them and say, let's you and I call them after the show.
Let's do.
There's a look. The last slide is looking to the north on America's Cup Avenue. There's Bannister's Wharf is just around the corner of this building. This is Corey Silken's gallery again.
I love the photos.
But on the, aren't they
I really
great?
do. Yeah.
And that's just a selection because Rick Bannerow tipped me off to these. And thank you, Rick, because they were on Corey's Facebook page. And I sent a note to Corey, said, I hope it's okay with you. I'm going to use him on the show and give you lots of credit because he is a superb photographer and a long-time friend. Mm-hmm. Julia?
Sir?
What are we celebrating today?
That we're not in that show, in that storm.
World Bartender Day. Isn't that appropriate for the drinking show with a sailing habit?
It is.
Creators of delicious concoctions that can make any night out better. These talented mixologists are the ultimate beverage wizards. And this is a day celebrated around the world. It's on Tuesday, the 24th of Feb, every year, apparently. Bartending is considered by some to be one of the oldest professions known to man. Mm-hmm. It is said to have appeared on the scene several thousand years ago in various geographical locations, such as ancient Rome, Greece, and even Asia. At the time, these would have been the innkeepers and the owners of alehouses who would make their own ales, brews, and liquors, as well as wines that they would serve to patrons. Because the ethical and legal issues, the profession wasn't always held.
Except by their loyal followers.
Well, they're held in high esteem probably by the tax man as well, because they served drinks and collected taxes, presumably, on those drinks. Mm-hmm. Then during the 15th century in Western Europe, according to our website, Days of the Year, that we follow, among others, for this feature, those who created and served drinks at their establishments may have become more accepted the bartenders,
Mm-hmm.
in France, Germany, Ireland, and England. I wonder why. Or at the very least, they were likely making quite a bit of money compared to their peers.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until the 1800s that the perception of being a person who tends bar began to develop into something more of a craftsman.
Mm-hmm.
As certain types of alcohol developed over the years, mixed drinks became more popular, and bartending became more about creating and mixing than just serving. And that was when American Jerry Thomas, sometimes considered the father of mixology, never heard of him, have you?
Mm-mm.
Became popular for the special cocktails he created in his bars in New York City. In fact, Thomas literally wrote the first book on bartending called The Bartender's Guide, alternatively referred to as How to Mix Drinks, How to Make Friends and Mix Drinks,
Mm-hmm.
or The Bon Vivant's Companion, which was published 11 years after the first America's Cup in 1862.
Mm-hmm.
Many of the principles set out in this book have continued to be the standard for those learning to tend bar even today. And Julia, so you won't be disappointed?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Hi, foodies. Are you ready? Hello, foodies. Hi, foodies. Hello, foodies.
Now, for extra credit, what country was that video from? And I have no idea who foodies are, if that's some restaurant or if it's, I don't know. Does anybody know? Anybody recognize the country that video is from? I know because I looked it up on YouTube when I grabbed it off YouTube last night. I don't see anybody in the chat coming up with the answer. While you're thinking about it, David James, our esteemed learned friend across the bay in Sausalito, who is a lawyer, says most yacht racing insurance policies exclude, quote, any loss, damage, liability, or expense arising from terrorism and or steps taken to prevent, suppress, control, or reduce the consequences of any actual, attempted, anticipated, threatened, suspected, or perceived
Aha.
terrorism.
There it is.
Now, Jody, I see he signed on. He said the dog ate his homework, so he was a little late getting on here. But Peter Rechenberg is on from Geelong down in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
I like it how people come on and apologize for being late. They're so polite.
Oh, I know. And we miss them anyway. So
They're
it's
so
nice
kind.
to have it. Yeah.
Well, that video is from Indonesia,
Aha.
where apparently they must have a cocktail culture as well. And that gets us through the A block, Julia. And it's time to have John Emmett's regular report, the Coaching Corner Super Fuzzy John Emmett, who's still in Australia, now in Melbourne, or has been in Melbourne for a while. If I remember well, Friday he was at Alistair's house with that statue of the string bass player.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And now he's in sailing in one of the like we would call a beer can race here at the Sandringham Yacht Club.
Oh, that's good.
John Emmett in the Coaching Corner.
Seeing Groover got.
Oh, where's the video? Oh, I don't have the video. I better go dig that up. Okay, sorry about that. I downloaded it and then had a problem with it. I'll go back and get John's video. But while we're on the Olympics, I want to back up here and look at reminding everybody, Brisbane 2032, push for Paralympic sailing. That continues. All of you, please help. World Sailing, the locals in Australia and beyond, because we got to get sailing back in the Paralympics. And then my plan to what I think will help the Olympics, the main sailing Olympics, a lot, will come later in the show. So I'll go back to a Bravo Zulu here, Julia. Well done in praise of performance, of course, a Bravo Zulu. And I can't go through this without talking about the U.S. hockey teams, both the men's and the women's team, but particularly the men's team, I being an old hockey player, and Fritz Mueller. You know, it's interesting. We were talking about this the other day over at St. Francis. Back when we were kids, we didn't sail year-round. We didn't play hockey year-round. You had a winter sport, you had a summer sport, maybe a spring and a fall sport too. I mean, but now everybody's doing it year-round of different sports, which seems a little much. But a lot of people back in the day were also hockey players. There's a lot of sailors, I should say, were also hockey players. Kenny Reed, Brad Reed, the Johnstone kids, and the Billy Allen up in Minnesota, who played college hockey, was a hell of a good player, who was the Olympic gold medalist with Buddy, and many others. Whether you were in the upper Midwest, whether you're in the Northeast, and or out in the West even. I mean, Tyler McDonald, Peter McDonald, Dion McDonald's son, who grew up in Orange County in Southern California, Newport Beach, he played hockey.
Did he?
Yeah, the sport, for a number of reasons, has been booming, and this will cause it to boom more because the USA won 2-1 on this overtime goal by Jack Hughes, who's only 4, 5? And it was an amazing game. The Canadians dominated, especially the second and third period. This kid got a high stick in the mouth, and the other team was penalized. The guy that got his stick too high and knocked 2 of his teeth out.
Oh, well, they'll be cherished.
Well, you know, he'll have them repaired. One of my teeth is knocked out from hockey.
I believe.
So, and it's actually been just fine all these years. It got replaced and it's never had a problem. But Jack is claimed by, this is why this is so good, because he's being claimed by Florida, by Michigan, where he went to high school. He was born in Orlando, and then he went to high school in Michigan to play development hockey there. And he's Jewish. He's been bar mitzvahed because his mom's Jewish and his dad's Catholic, and who cares?
Yeah.
But it's everybody's claiming him. The Jewish community in the U.S. is claiming him after the goal that he scored. But he took this high stick in the third period, I think it was, from Canada's Sam Bennett, and the third period of Sunday's, there is the gold medal game in Milan. The hit drew blood and knocked out parts of 2 front teeth as Hughes went down the ice before play was stopped. And you know, when you're injured in hockey as an old referee, you don't stop play until your team gets possession of the puck. Because if the other team's in a scoring position, you don't want to take away their scoring opportunity, for example. Now, in kid hockey, it's different. In kid hockey, if there's a kid hurt, you stop the game.
Yeah.
But in college hockey, Olympic hockey, pro hockey, it carries on. The Canadians were superb, which is one of the reasons why this game was up and down the ice. It was fantastic. It was super fast. It came on at 5 in the morning here on the West Coast, 8 in the morning on the East Coast, and a lot of people were tuning in. There were watch parties all over the country. The Canadians outshot, and you know what we mean by shooting, how many shots you get on goal. They outshot the Americans easily 2-1. I can't remember the final. First period was pretty even, 8-8 or something like that. And the Americans actually scored their one goal, their one regulation time goal in the first period. But second and third periods, the goaltender for the American team, who is a Michigander, he grew up in Commerce Township in Michigan, just around the corner from where I grew up and from where Clark Chapin now lives, still lives. The goaltender, with some luck from Lady Luck and God knows who else, because he kept them in the game. The Canadians just buzzed all over the U.S., played fantastic. And here is the best comment I've seen on any social media since the game from a guy, I don't know him, Scott Karpman. We should all be thanking the NHL and there's a reason for me doing this, because I'm going to get to my Olympic thing. Okay. My Olympic proposal, and some of this will make sense, or it will have some bearing on that. We should be thanking the NHL and the NHLPA for allowing players, that's mean the Players Association, for allowing players to participate in the Olympics. It was a wonderful tournament, and that's true. Sweden, Slovakia, Finland, there were other teams that played fantastic hockey. Sometimes the puck just bounces your way, and I guarantee you that's what happened for the American team in the third, particularly the third period. And finally, in the overtime period, when when Jack Hughes scored that goal. So there was a big celebration because the Americans have only won a gold medal twice before this. Once was 1960, way back. And the other time, of course, was that famous game in the series. They didn't actually win the gold medal when they beat the Russians, the Soviets, in 1980, but that's celebrated as the miracle on ice. But it was because it's been 46 years, and these are pros. Most of them are standout players in the NHL, but that Canadian team was so deep, so strong, so good. They were amazing, and the Americans luckily came through to win. Nathan McKinnon, who is one of the best players in the National Hockey League from Canada, he missed an open net goal. Julia, I could have scored this. You probably could have scored this.
Not me.
Well, if we wheeled your chair out there on the ice and gave you a stick.
Yep.
And I don't know if this hit the post. I think it hit the side of the net. I think it actually hit the netting. But you can see how much of the goal was open. And he just missed it. And there were a couple other amazing scoring opportunities that the Canadians had. And the goalie, this kid, kept the puck by hook or by crook out of the net. McKinnon said afterwards, just sad, just disappointed. It just sucks. It's a lot bigger than your club team. It's your country, and it's only every 4 years, so it's going to be a long time before we get to try to win this one back. And it will be a completely different team, too, so it just sucks. Now, here's this goalie. Now, this guy is a superb National Hockey League goalie. He's won the goalie trophy, the Vezina trophy. Is it the Vezina or Vezina? I can't remember. Vezina trophy, I think 3 times. And his name's Connor. It's obviously a Slavic, I guess, name. They call him Hellebuck. And a lot of things get made out of his last name, Hellebuck. But he had 41 saves in that game, meaning stoppages of shots on net. And he is from Commerce, Michigan. As I said, just around the corner from where I grew up in Ann Arbor, and just up above where Clark Chapin still lives. So Michigan's very proud of that as well. But
41 saves, wow.
And that was amazing. Okay, so now let's talk about what happened big picture in the Olympics, of course, which wrapped up on Sunday with the did you watch the closing ceremony?
Yes.
How was it?
It was good.
It was okay?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a lot of stuff at the end after the parade of there was a
cultural
huge,
stuff. I mean,
yes, lots ice dancing.
Well, now I'm getting comments from other Michiganders. Yeah, I think it is I saw this morning, Lance, that it's however you pronounce that, Vezina or Vezina or Vezina. Yes, I'm probably one of the few people that saw you play hockey in Brownstown Township. Did you go down there and watch one of our spring league or summer league games? That's the only time I played down there, downriver, Joe, near Trenton. Yarvahe, what was that Cash Patel idiot? I think that was great. He's there doing real work. The guy, Cash Patel, who's our director of the FBI, is a hockey player. He plays in a beer league. He plays in an adult league in Columbus, Ohio, or wherever he did before he went to D.C. to be the FBI director. And, you always send somebody from the government, or in Biden's case, a bunch of people from the government, and they go and they mingle and you celebrate. So I thought it was great. It was maybe a little over the top yard that he was drinking a beer on TV with the team. That was but it was such an amazing thing. I had no problem with that at all. I don't think he's an idiot. I think the guy's tough. Crime in this country is down to record lows to 1900. We've not had a crime level so low in this country, especially serious crime, since 1900. So he and the FBI have cleaned some stuff up. The local officials have cleaned some stuff up, and I give them full marks for that. Here is the total. And the Norwegians once again dominated the medal table, 18 gold, 41 total. The U.S., I think, also was a record for Norway. It was also a record, I believe, for the U.S., 12 gold, 33 total. Italy, the home team, usually does well. and that's historic in the winter game. In fact, I think the summer games too. Italy 10 and 30. Then Germany, Japan, France, Switzerland, Canada, all of whom are you would expect to be good in the Nordic in the Winter Olympics. So bravo Zulu to them, especially Norway, who dominated the Winter Olympics, setting a record with 18 gold medals, even though it has fewer people than Colorado or South Carolina. Speaking of, Baton Rouge, who lives in South Carolina, Norway, they won more medals than any other country. So I wonder why. But it didn't win the medal count every way you look at it. Okay, this is the New York Times delving into this. Although Norway won the most events on snow, it won only one event on an ice rink. The Canadians won most events on an ice rink, curling and hockey and whatever. And when judges were involved, this is an interesting stat, I thought, such as in the half pipe, snowboarding, or figure skating, Japan was on top.
Amazing. They had a couple of great
I wonder, did you watch the figure skating?
Yes, not all of it, but I did see two really incredible Japanese skaters.
Okay, that's Ben Blatt writing in the New York Times. But I did a little looking into Norway and their history of doing well in these games, but also they're batting above they're punching above their weight in the Summer Olympics too, as it turns out. Gold medalist Johannes Hosflot Kleibo of Norway celebrates on the podium after the men's 50-kilometer mass start classic, alongside silver medalist Martin Lostrom, I'm not Nyenget, of Norway, and the bronze medalist also from Norway, Emil Iversen, and that was on Saturday. So they won all three medals in that competition. A tiny nation of roughly 5.5 million people, and they're plenty. It's one of the richest nations per capita in the world, so they got plenty of dough because of the oil and the North Sea oil. But 5.5 million people, about the same as, well, the U.S. state of South Carolina, fewer than Colorado, has figured out how to keep beating countries like 1.4 million Chinese. Billion. 342 million U.S., 84 million German. I thought it was 88, but that's when I lived there. Maybe it shrunk. Italy, 59 million. And Canada, 40 million. Clearly, they're doing something right, and perhaps some of their rival nations like the U.S. could learn a thing or two from the Nordic champions. To wit, it might come as no surprise that a Nordic country would excel in winter sports. Yeah, that seems logical. But the truth is that Norway has been punching well above its weight in many sports for some time. Norway has recently produced Olympic champions in beach volleyball and several in track and field, two quintessentially summer sports. And of course, you can practice and play summer sports in the Nordic countries and indoors.
Yes,
a little more difficult to practice in the do-it sense of the word.
The winter sports.
The winter sports in the
summer.
Well,
climes.
yeah, in the tropics, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's some kids that I guess it's a female soccer team, U16 soccer team. Young Norwegian players stand during the national anthem ahead of an international friendly against Denmark. Okay. But why? What are we talking about? Well, their triathlon program, Norway's triathlon, is celebrated as the best in the world. Their triathlon program. Victor Hovland is one of the top golfers. Casper Ruud made it to world number 2 in the ATP in the tennis rankings. Erling Haaland is one of the most feared strikers in the beautiful game, meaning soccer. And Ada Hegerberg won the most prestigious individual honor in world soccer, the Ballon d'Or. So, what's that all about? There are many reasons for Norway's success, but there is one, according to this article on CNN Sports, there is one common theme, an emphasis on fun and enjoyment that starts at the grassroots level and at the young, when they're kids. Until the age of 12, this article says, in Norway, nobody in youth sports is allowed to keep score. And there are no league standings either. As a result, there is far less destructive pressure and no reason to specialize too soon. and young athletes are encouraged to try out multiple sports, which I was thinking when I was putting these, cutting and pasting these slides, because this is an excerpt, obviously, from the article.
Yeah.
I always played hockey better when I was sailing, when we were doing both sports, and I sailed better when I was playing hockey. I'm not kidding. I mean, you go do that in summer league, and then you'd sail and during the day, on the weekend, or on Thursday nights. I think multiple sports, multiple classes in our sport is all good.
Yep.
And then they go on here. They encourage young athletes to try out multiple sports. If one player gets a trophy, everyone gets a trophy. Okay. At a young age, I think that's right. They want as many children as possible to return the following season. Okay. Now, this guy is Johannes Haasflut Kleibo. Always thought he'd be a soccer player one day. In fact, he was sure of it. But he would come to realize that his true potential lay elsewhere. In Italy, he won 6 gold medals in cross-country skiing. He's got to be very fit. That's a tough sport aerobically. To become the most successful winter Olympian of all time. His 11 gold medals surpassing 3 other athletes who had 8 golds to their name. So that's this guy Kleibo. See, approaching the finish line to win gold medals. A gold medal in the cross-country skiing in the 4x7.5K relay on the 15th. All are Norwegian, by the way. The sports development pipeline in Norway is less about trying to identify talent quickly and then turbocharging the athletes to success. It's more about letting them find their own way, ensuring that when they're ready to join an elite program, they will make the most of it. So, if you believe this reportage,
I really do think that the person who truly enjoys every minute of all that rigor, it is going to stay with it and
absolutely. I mean, look, if I didn't enjoy doing this show, I wouldn't do it.
That's for sure.
Especially at my age, and you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't come down here. No. Especially after the abuse I give you before the show. Julie, exercise your arms and sing out loud. And get your brain and mouth working. Julie gets mad at me, but we get her going. When you try different sports, you also meet different cultures. Absolutely, especially for us in sailing. I've always said it was so lucky that we got involved in sailing, got around, meet different people, and the sunfish and the laser and the fireball. Not just internationally, but also in your own country. There is a broad learning base when you have those kind of kids. It's easier to build a high-performance culture. They know who they are, what they want. We like the kids to feel that they are in it for themselves, not to please their parents.
Yeah.
And I could not agree more. And some of you know, I ran the kids hockey program in Ann Arbor for 7 years, almost 7 years as the league director. And I had 40 some odd teams. We started a program for 7 and 8 year olds. And at the time I took a lot of criticism because we said their kids are just going to go out on the ice. We'll split the ice up and have 2 or 3 little rinks there. They're little young kids.
Right.
No scoring, no stats, no scoreboards. No, nothing. Just go out
and play
and learn and do some drills and have fun. And I suspect that we should be doing the same thing at an older age, even at the squirt level 9 and 10, and maybe in our beloved sport. And I know a lot of the junior programs are going this way anyway, but we got to do something to retain kids in sailing. This has got to be part of it.
I hear more complaints about in the junior program about
pressure.
Having to go from A to B, and then A to B, and then A to B, and then A to B to C.
With your coach whistling at you, do this, do that.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Julia. Okay, I'm going to go back and look at some comments here, and then we're going to get some more. Oh, man, look at the comments are rolling in here. Hi, Alan Long. Did the Swedish bikini team win any medals? Banner. I'm trying to be serious here. Fritz Mueller down in Miami, follow the prominence of pro sports in most countries, taking away super athletes from Olympic sport. Yeah, that's true. There's no doubt in my mind that the USA could field some of the best rugby players in the world if we didn't have American gridiron football and baseball and basketball, no doubt. That's you got pro, but also in the U.S. you had college sports, which takes away kids from Olympic sports, but it also helps put them in. If you look at what Stanford does, Julia, your school, if you look at what USC, what Michigan, my university, and others do. But Blake Middleton agrees the emphasis on fun and enjoyment works for sailing too. When you look at Norway and the USA, very different culture, John Emmett is saying, very much reflected in education and happiness indexes. Well, that's true too. And of course, the size of the country makes it easier to gather people around in Norway for cooperative efforts like this. David James, in junior sailing in the U.S., at least, the joy of the juniors has become completely subservient to the vicarious, that's right, the vicarious ambition, especially of the opti parents. Yeah, it's the coaches and the parents. The coaches are also at fault too. Okay, there's a lot of interesting comments here. Andrew, Dolly DeVola is saying that this guy Clabo has won more medals than Australia.
Actually, I was thinking that for two, I think I'm correct in this, and 2 Olympic rounds, Stanford University has won more medals than any country.
Well, yeah.
And it's because
But
those
again,
athletes,
you claim everybody who ever showed up in Palo Alto for more than 5 minutes. So
well, yeah, but I mean, it's a year-round environment.
Yep.
And
Well, your school, like Michigan, like Southern Cal, also fields good teams in a lot more sports than most universities do. And you're absolutely right. Okay, I want to go to Clayton's comment there, Clayton Embley. I suspect that the parents that are pushing this single sport thing with intensity probably have not held a trophy above their heads as an adult.
oh, well, that's interesting comment.
I think there's a lot of vicarious pleasure. I mean, I used to deal with parents in the hockey league, the kids hockey league, and we see it in yacht clubs too, of course.
Yeah.
The contrast with the system, this is Norway's system, in the U.S. couldn't be more stark, according to CNN. U.S. comedian Josh Mancuso ridiculed the American travel baseball system, which starts at age 7 in a viral reel, which has been seen by millions, in fact, over 10 million views. Here it is.
All right, parents, listen up. Congratulations on your son making this elite travel baseball team. Your weekends belong to me.
Yeah, what's the name of our team?
We're the Thunderbat, Shark Fin, Dirt Devil, Long Bombers.
That's like 4 names.
First tournament is a regional in South Florida. It will cost $27,000 per family. From there, we'll head to Costa Rica and Ecuador for 2 more tournaments.
I didn't know a passport was going to be part of it. I don't have a passport.
If we win the second tournament, we get an automatic bid into the Travel Baseball National Championship Elite Sectional Silver Bracket.
Oh, wow, that'll be big.
Which is a qualifier for the World Series Travel Baseball International Tournament of Baseball.
Where's that?
Mumbai.
I don't know if we can commit to that much.
What's that? You don't know, Jeff?
It's just I have a job.
Well, you have to call in, won't you? Possibly quit. This is your life now.
Okay. I don't know if I have enough on my credit card to pay for all this.
I don't know if I have to take out a loan, Alan. All right, put a lien on your house. Right, you need bats, gloves, cleats, pants, jerseys, specialty jerseys, carts, tents, chairs, speakers. Ooh. This is basically the major leagues.
Is it? Okay.
All right, here's our roster. Braxton, Jackson, Paxton, Easton, Landon with a Y, Braden,
Okay, see,
Jaden.
this is about to wrap up, but he just made the key comment. This is basically the major leagues, and I had to, when I was running this kids hockey program, I had to take coaches, even the travel programs, and tone them down, and excuse me, this is not the NHL. This is not the University of Michigan hockey team.
Yeah.
These are some 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids who none of whom, or almost no chance any of them will ever make the big league. So, and if somebody is really good, well, we'll send them to hockey school and get them tuned up. Okay, so that's a guy called Josh Mancuso on Instagram on his page. He's a funny guy. He's got a lot of great things. Back to Norway. A rising tide, according to the CNN articles wrapping up here, a rising tide lifts all boats in Norway. And whether it's, and this picture I grabbed, they didn't have this picture in the article. Mm-hmm. And whether it's athletes, programs, or sports, they cooperate with other for as long as possible. And it means each other for as long as possible. They only compete when they must. Mm-hmm. And then there's a guy called Brad Stulberg, an author who recently published, quote, The Way of Excellence, is fascinated by the Norwegian approach, especially as he contrasts it with his own experience as a parent and coach here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. I think that Americans could learn a lot from the Norwegian model, he told CNN Sports, especially the emphasis on fun and participation over winning, certainly at a young age. Mm-hmm. The data is very clear. The number one reason, he asserts, that kids quit sports is because it's no longer fun.
I'm sure that's true.
The number two reason is because they feel too much pressure.
I'm sitting here thinking in the back of my mind about Lily and her experience in China.
And how intensive that was.
Yes, picked it up, taken out of her house at age of 10 so she could prepare,
Indeed. Okay, so that's an article on CNN Sports from a couple days ago, I guess, on the 22nd by Don Riddell. And it may have been an updated article from an earlier one, but I thought we should all cogitate on that a bit, Julia, because I do think there's, and I'm sure the Norwegian system is not perfect, and I'm sure it won't work for all countries, and countries have different systems because of their political economy and social economy, but in any event, enough. But we're going to talk about what I think we should be doing for our sport to reinvigorate it at the Olympic level in a minute. Mm-hmm. Julia, we're going to talk about it right now. And then after that, we're going to get to the Antigua, to the Caribbean 600, which we're celebrating also on today's show, number 912. Thank you for joining us. If you're just tuning in, we do this, it's just about 1 hour into the show. We start at 1300 every Tuesday and Friday, and we're on YouTube and Facebook, and we appreciate your support.
I'm just reading this, which I didn't know that Stanford had 4 athletes in Milan who won 2 winning medals, and it had
It's had 196 Summer Olympics athletes and 335 medals. That's Lance Burke.
Yeah.
Here at St. Francis Yacht Club. Yeah, well, you're a university. But, you can gather athletes up in a university or a lot of different...
But it's not known for its sport.
What? Stanford?
Yeah.
Oh, the hell it isn't. There's a thing called the Commissioner's Trophy. It used to be called the Sears before Sears Roebuck went under. The Sears Trophy. And your school used to win that. Michigan, Stanford, USC, 1 or 2 other schools used to win that trophy almost every year. Yeah. Okay, let me get to my proposal, and then we'll get on with this show. This was the slide, and I'm not going to go back in and look at what the Olympics used to be and what it could be and yada, yada, yada. What I'm going to do is give you my simple country boy, modest plan to protect and revitalize the Olympic sailing. And look, I'm not very smart. I'm very good at observing the passing scene. I'm a bit of a historian. I like history. I like to go back and see what did work. And I don't like really to reinvent the wheel too much when something does work, tweak it. And then, maybe you do a major. And if something is really horribly wrong, then throw the baby out with the bathwater and start over. But that usually is not the right approach.
No.
And I don't think it is in our case either. And I go back, first of all, to 2000. And that are a couple of Solings. Do you recognize the background, Julia, on that slide? What's in the background? And the Olympic rings up there on that bridge. That is the Sydney Harbor Bridge.
Oh, I can't tell.
And that is right behind it. There were those. That is the Opera House.
Yeah.
This is Soling match racing in front of the Sydney Opera House for the men in 2000. This is the finals. And you say, oh, Australia, New Zealand, and the U.S., a couple other countries ought to be dominating this, Great Britain. No, it was dominated by Denmark in the Soling, the match racing in the 2000 Olympics with Jesper Bonk, Henrik Blockskær, and Thomas Jakobsen defeating Germany, the famously, that team's really good. Jesper Bonk's one of the best sailors ever to come out of any country, let alone a small country like Denmark. Jochen Schumann, Gunnar Bahr, Ingo Borkowski were the other finalists in this, and it went 4-3. 4-3. First to win 4 in a 7, race series. Norway was third. Herman Horn, Johansson, Paul Davis, Espen Stokkeland took bronze by beating the Netherlands. Now, I was not there, but a lot of you were. And anybody who was there says that was at least the second best Olympic event they've ever seen. People were watching the match racing. People understood the match racing. People could see it from the Opera House, from the ferries, from wherever the hell they were. And you could tell, even if you were at a distance, you could tell what was going on, sort of, even if you were a non-sailor. And on TV, they didn't do a great job, but they did an adequate job. Certainly was okay. We know how to televise match racing. It's being televised in the world, and not just in this country, but in a lot of different countries now since at least the 70s, at least the 80s. Let's call it the 80s. 87, famously good first televising in Frio in Perth. In that broadcast consortium, it wasn't just ESPN here in this country. It was channel, whoever it was, 9 in Australia and beyond. So there's something to be said for match racing because, as we were talking on the show last Friday, you've got to have an Olympic event that is understandable. And one of you said, I can't remember who now, said hockey and even curling, which is a little complicated, but you can figure it out. You Wikipedia it and you figure it out in 5 minutes. But hockey is easy. Soccer is easy. You put the ball in the goal, you put the puck in the goal. You have two teams. One's going to win. Whoever has it. And we got to get our sport down to that level of understandability, if that's a word. And the only discipline in our sport, Julie, that I think is understandable is match racing.
I was going to say match racing, yeah.
If those of us who are keen racing sailors are trying to, if we're out watching, some of us who've been commentating and watching fleet racing, Emmett could spy from half a mile away. He said, oh, they're getting a little lift over there on the right side, and those boats they're going to get headed, and they're going to tack, and they're going to be ahead, I think, at the cross. And there's a few people like that who are really good. I used to being able to watch a match race in the America's Cup, and I'm doing all that for our VIP guests on all these big boats. And, they had what was called the virtual eye with some of these other brand names, and then there was the Eamon eye. But, you look at John Emmett. He can do it on the television when we're watching it here. When we've had these watch parties. Jody's the same way. And there's lots of people who are good at it, or there's a few people who are good at it, but not the general public. They look out there and they think, oh, these boats are going in 15 different directions, and then somebody goes around a mark. Now where are they going? Oh, there's an offset mark, and now they're coming back downhill, and they're coming to the finish. Oh, they're not going to the finish line. They got to go through a gate and then go over on that reaching leg to the finish.
That funny
the Irish commentator at the Olympics when he thought that they were finishing and they hadn't even started.
Right.
I got a copyright strike for using that video. So I can't use it again. So we got to simplify it. Team racing would be an utter madness. We all love to team race, I think. It's a lot of fun, but there's no way you could understand it. It changes so fast. There's so many rule infringements. You got umpires out there scratching their heads and scratching their what else. So I think it's got to be telegenic, Blake, and I think the only thing that will work is match racing. And when you get to the finals of the Solings, and you got two fine world-class helmsmen like Jesper and Jochen, it's going to be, and it was 4-3. I mean, it was just an astonishing series again was not there, but by all accounts.
Mm-hmm.
The second best, and maybe the best, maybe a lot of you on here, and some of you are too young to have been in Sydney in 2000, 26 years ago. I'm teasing. But the second best, if not the best, was London 2012. The women's match racing at Weymouth. Here are the Brits. And these are the Elliott 6 meters. I don't think the boat's all that important. I'll come to that in a minute. But here, how many of you remember who the 3 medalists were in the women's match racing in 2012? Was it the U.S. or Canada, New Zealand, Australia? Huh?
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Well, Australia was one of the medalists.
Yeah.
But Spain's Tamara Etchegoyen, Angela Pomariga, and Sofia Toro won the gold medal. Spain in women's match racing in 2012 in Weymouth. They defeated our foesy, Olivia Price, who had Nina Curtis and Lucinda Whitty, and they took the silver, the Aussies did, and in a closely contested final. Russia's Ekaterina Skudina, Elena I don't know how to pronounce it, Siuzeva, and Elena Oblova took bronze. Russia, match racing.
Yep. All I remember is that was terrific.
Everybody says it was. I was not there either, but everybody who was says it was a fabulous event. You're watching up there on the hill in Weymouth that was right down in front. Yeah, it probably had a little too close to shore, and some of the wind effects on the racing was a bit crutonic at times. So if those are the 2 best events in memory, better than my beloved star racing or fin class racing, where they go out in their little white triangles and you're way offshore someplace trying to run big fleet races. Why don't we put match racing back in the Olympics? A men's division and a women's division. It seems so obvious to me. It seems so simple. Three, everybody says, oh, you can't take 3-person boats because it's taking away too many athlete spots. We'll cut out some of the other athletes. If we're going to keep our sport in the Olympics, if we are going to be televised, we got to have something. We have to offer something that is televisable. And that seems to me not to be boards, not to be kites, not to be fleet racing in foiling catamarans. It's got to be match racing, 1 boat against 1 boat, because it's understandable. What several of you said on the show on Friday about the Winter Olympic sports we were watching, most of them pretty understandable.
Yeah. Andrew Dolly Lula repeats something he says often, and win every race and lose in the medal final is their idea of helping people understand. Please don't get me started.
Well, exactly. But you know what? You can understand that if you get to the match in the match racing and you've had a good long run, like we see sometimes in Governor's Cup. We've seen Jeffrey Peterson.
Yeah.
You see that, and then you get to the match and you get eliminated, or you lose 3-1 or 2, whatever it is. Okay, that happens. But you can understand that. You can understand that happening. Oh, it's a first to win 2 races, 2 points. Oh, or first to win 3 points. Okay. I like the comment from Clay Embley. With match racing, you can see how your team is doing. With multiple athletes on the boat, you have a team to cheer for. Additionally, with a boat like the Soling Star, they become visual symbols of your country as well. Like, look at Kayard and Freeshaw Clean. They definitely became symbols of the countries, their respective countries. They definitely need keel boats, match racing in the Olympics. Clay Embley, thank you. David James, team racing is extremely fun as a competitor, but impenetrable to even knowledgeable spectators. Absolutely, David, 100%. Think how popular the 2-person speed skating events have been. Yeah, they were, and it's kind of strange because they're one skating right behind the other to block the lower the windage. Okay, Peter Rechenberg, good question, and I got an answer for it. Why not match racing with mixed crews? And the reason I think is that I think women deserve their own medal in this highly televisable, highly understandable event. I think the women, as they were in Weymouth in 2012, should have their own event with 3 women on the boat, just like the women's hockey team won a gold medal or the women's curling team. You don't see these mixed gender, these co-ed events very often in the Olympics or in anything else. Sometimes SailGP is trying to do it, but that's because they can't have a women's event and a men's event because they don't even have enough boats for what they got now. But in the Olympics, to put on a match racing women's medal and a men's match racing medal, no problem. So that's my answer to that. And I thought a lot about it, Peter, whether we ought to just have one of these boats and do something a little bigger and have, 2 women and 3 men or 3 women and 2 men. No. The women should have their own event. We're trying to have parity. I don't like the word equity. We're trying to have, maybe not equality is maybe not even the word. We're trying to have an event for women and an event for men, I think. And it's easy to do. And there's another reason what I'm going to propose now, apropos men and women. Fritz Mueller, match racing, IMO has the same appeal as time trialing in the Tour de France. It's mano a mano, yes, plain and simple. Mm-hmm. You know who is at their pinnacle at any given moment outside the norms of conventional rules. Good point, Fritz. Mm-hmm. Clark Chapin, match racing with boats with symmetrical spinnakers so that there are opportunities for downwind passing. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And Peter's giving me a thumbs up, Peter Rechenberg. Mm-hmm. I think the women deserve their own medal. I think it focuses just like we saw. And again, I'm sitting here thinking about this for the last 2 weeks, watching the hockey games here and the other sports. And you don't have mixed co-ed curling. And, we all play hockey in our beer league and our, in our recreational leagues with mixed teams now. No problem. You'd get dressed together in the locker room together. You shower together in some places. It's no problem. I'm not against it. But the Olympics, you need a women's event and the best women in the world, and you need a men's event, the best men in the world. Now, the other mistake that we've been making is that when we've had a women's single-handed event and except in the laser. Okay, now the boats are a little different because, as John Emmett will remind us, the sail size is different. But having the same class, the same vessel for both the men and the women, I think is really important so that people can, at their clubs, at the national championships in their respective countries, they can all go race together as a fleet. I think this is when the 470 had men and women, that was good. Now they got this co-ed stuff. It's fallen off the cliff. The catamaran, the foiling catamaran, yeah, it's not good. So I think we need to find a class like the classes that were successful, the Soling or the Elliott 6 meters, but they need to be classes that are a class that works for men and for women, is widely distributed around the world, works at yacht clubs and sailing centers and community boating centers, and can be put up on a trailer and towed around easily, and is, again, widely distributed around the world. We have to find a boat that fills all of those purposes. And I have a pretty strong opinion of what it should be. But you think about what it could be. It could be the J70. It could be the Melgus 24, for example. They don't have symmetric kites. They have A sails, asymmetric. They're not good match racing boats, but they're pretty widely distributed. You don't want to put it out to bid and have all these croutons coming in and saying, my boat's better than theirs. And by the way, the boats should not be supplied. These countries never had any problem coming up with stars, never had any problem coming up with fins, getting their boats around. And Joe, it should not be the star because you're not going to put 2 women in a star and go match racing in that boat with that huge mainsail. Plus, it doesn't have a spinnaker. So as much as I love the star, and for that matter, the fin, I don't think that's the way forward. Some of you will be amazed that you heard that out of me. Blake is saying, what about Inglings? Possibility, but they're too small. And they got the same problem with that rudder on the, that's inboard a bit.
How about Etchells?
David James is suggesting the Etchells. Well, I always said David James was a bright boy, Julia, because that's what I'm suggesting.
Oh, good.
You can see Julia and I rehearse this segment. Not. I think the Etchells, which is widely already distributed around the world. Yes, they've had a couple measurement issues but they've already sorted that out, largely sorted that. That boat is raced in Europe. It's raced in the States. It's raced in Hong Kong. It's raced in Australia, big time. There's a few in, New Zealand can do anything. They're such a great country. Lightnings are too small. It needs to be a keelboat, Steve Gruber. J24 is too croutonic. This boat is easy to trailer, works well for men and women, and they're all over the place. Plus, you can belly up to the yacht club dock, tie it up to the dock, and leave it there for a night, overnight, for a week. You don't have to pull it out with a crane if you don't want to. You can leave it there all season. Yeah, get somebody to clean the bottom, and it might absorb a kilo or two of water, and you're not going to leave your precious race boat in the water all summer. But this boat, and I have nothing for the Etchells. I've barely even sailed them. I have once or twice. And just go to a class that is already widely distributed and has builders all over the world, which this class does. It's 22 feet on the waterline, and it's close to 30 feet overall. I was talking this morning with Tyler Wolk. You can get at least two. You can get two of these in a container, in a 40-foot container. And maybe people more clever than I know how to do it with more than that. So you can put them in the container, ship them around. People should supply their own boats, because here is my next assertion. You get this class. Ever since we went to supplied boats, numbers are going down. Because, and we're getting more and more grief from the IOC and from the organizers. Why? Because we're dumping all that expense on the IOC and on the local organizing committee. And they got to supply all of the single-handed boats and all the kites and forget it. It worked beautifully in the past. And yeah, maybe the first time around, the U.S. Virgin Islands maybe can't find an Etchells. Somebody will help them out and they'll find one. Used Etchells are not quite a dime a dozen, but there's lots of them around. And you'll be able to get one and be competitive. And you'll be able to race it at your club. And it'll have an afterlife. Once the Olympics are over, you can go back and sail the Etchells in your club racing, in your club national, in your country's national championship. The kids can sail it in the junior program, yada, yada, yada. And maybe there's other boats. I don't know.
6 meters.
And I think they're way too expensive, Julia. And plus, it's a design rule. But that's the idea, though. The Etchells is also visually appealing for TV. Yes, look at this. They look like
sailboats.
They look like sailboats. They look like 12 meters a bit. I mean, a lot. So the people who are wed to that, I think they get it. Then, again, it's got to be separate divisions, men and women. But they can train together because it's the same class.
And on the same boats.
Exactly. And Fritz Mueller is agreeing women deserve their own recognition in all sports, independent of the fact that they can likely beat men too. Exactly. We know this with equal recognition. The elephant in the room is who qualifies as a woman. Well, they've solved that.
Yeah.
I think that with that boxing situation, they fixed that. And that is for another discussion. And Clay Embley, yes, thank you for reminding me. I thought about this at length. If equestrians have to supply their own horses, if the luge people, Julia, have to supply their own, that German luge is apparently a marvel of engineering. The Germans have got the luge thing down, and those are bespoke. So I don't see why we can't go back to doing it the way we used to do it, and it always worked. And there were no problem, little countries getting there. And still today, this day, in the star class, you get Tansi Stepanovic, who gets his star and goes there and beats up on Kjær and whomever else. I just don't. I don't see what the. There's Banro saying that the Essex Frostbite fleet even sail Etchells through much of the winter. I didn't know that, but thank you for that. So I just don't see any problem. With the Etchells, I don't see any problem with some people and teams supplying their own boats. Yeah, you got to have a measurement, but we always had to have a measurement. And now, once you have boats that people own and that they change and that they sell, you help build up the fleets.
Yes, that's really important.
Around the world, Julia.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's bring your own boat, Etchells, separate men's and women's. And what happens if you get some old fart turning up and doing well? There's 2023, 3 years ago, John Bertrand, Aussie John Bertrand, see that?
Mm-hmm.
Won the Australian Nationals with a superb crew. Probably couldn't have won it without these guys because they're so good. George Richardson and Lewis Brake. Now, Lewis Brake's on the 18s, for maybe George is too, but I know Lewis Brake's name from the 18s. They won the 2023 Australian Etchells Championship in a dominating display at the Cruising Yacht Club.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Now you've got a class, because of the nature of the class, because of the kind of boat that people are used to sailing and have sailed, that it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that the Sail GP skippers, like the NHL stars, who were in the hockey game on Sunday, and through, they had NHL stars on all the teams, the Finns, the Swedes, the tell me who. It's not out of the realm of possibility that with a little cooperation, like we got from the NHL and the National Hockey League Players Association, got a little cooperation from Sail GP and maybe even the America's Cup, that you'd get Burling, you'd get Dylan, you'd get that gang. Your favorite kid, Diego Botín.
Yes.
That's who you want there. You want these names, these big stars. It's good. It's good for Sail GP for those sailors to be in the Olympics for a couple weeks.
Yes.
And it's good for our sport.
Yes.
So now you got a boat that looks like a 12 meter. You got match racing that everybody can identify and understand. And now you start digging names out of the woodwork because they're now able to come. Like guys like, and if Bertrand shows up and wins the Australian trials, fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. What is wrong with that?
Nothing.
If Dennis Conner shows up and wins the Etchells trials at his advance, he won't, age 80, whatever he is, but he might try. And if he just shows up at the trials in sales,
oh, wow.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea.
The format for the racing, again, I think it's so simple. And by the way, as Paul Henderson used to say, keep it KISS, the KISS principle. Keep it simple, sailor, KISS. I think the format's simple. I think you have a round robin one group with however many teams. And let's say you've got 16 teams and they have to qualify at a Etchells Olympic World Championship, or John Emmett can run various regattas for them and here, there, and everywhere. They get on the World Sailing Qualification Committee. Yeah, Steve Atkins says Steve Benjamin would be there. Great. You go crew for him, Steve. John Dane qualified and went to China in 2008. Fabulous. So you have a quarterfinals, a semifinals, and a final, head-to-head. First to win two, just like a normal tennis match, not a Grand Prix tennis, because I think it gets too long. First to win 2 points. And keep it, by the way, keep it the same. So it's always first to win two. Don't have one first to win three, and it's too confusing. Have a round robin, so you have 16 teams. Sail one round robin, so everybody gets to sail against everybody else, gets to learn the conditions if they haven't sailed much at the Olympic venue. And then the top 8 teams after the round robin move in. This tie breaking is easy. It's done all the time. And the top 8 teams move into the quarterfinals. Easy peasy, as you Brits would say. And if you want to have more than 16 teams or less, the beauty of the round robin as the first stage is you can do that. You can have 24 teams. They can sail a round robin, or you can split them in two and have double round or half round robins each, or each do a half round robin within the fleet. You can do whatever you want. And that allows you flexibility in the number of teams, number of boats. Even if somebody gets sick, if their boat gets broken, and now you're down to 15 teams in my example, no problem. The round robin then gets you out of the rounds and into the quarterfinals. Clark shape and the Elliott 7 might not be as widespread, but it is more. I don't care about modern designs, Clark. And yes, they've got asymmetrical symmetry. There aren't Elliott 7s anywhere else in the world except New Zealand and one or two others spread around. People bought up Olympic fleets, maybe. Maybe there's some up in Charlevoix. I don't know. Jody Shields, the big issue is that the Olympics will only want short races to fit in small time frame. Perfect. How long are these races going to be? They're going to be windward, leeward, just like all match racing is. Windward, leeward, leeward. Between 15 and 20 minutes, maybe less. That's a Gulf Cup in the Gulf Cup 22s. These boats aren't much bigger than the Gulf Cup 22s. And they'll go faster than a Gulf Cup 22 in a lot of conditions. Those Gulf Cup races are 12, 14 minutes. Windward, leeward. Exciting. The shorter the race course in match racing, generally speaking, the closer the racing is. The problem with shorter courses is there's fewer passing lanes, generally, but not always. With S sails, with symmetrical sail, with spinnakers going downhill, you almost want to be second at the top mark, close on the stern of the leader, rather than being the leader and having the guy gassing you at the top mark. Then you go out and then you jibe and then he rolls you. And we see that in the Gulf Cup time and time and time again. So, Jody, I think you're right. It's got to be short races. We do short races. 20 minutes or less. Then you hire a guy like Ian Murray because, we got the regatta director for the America's Cup. We got the regatta director for Sail GP or whoever it is, whether it's. And you immediately, by doing match racing, you connect to the old America's Cup as well as the new one because they're going to do match racing in the finals. They have to, under the deed, unless they're going to amend the deed of gift to do fleet racing. They're not going to do that. They're not going to amend the deed of gift at all. That's another issue. They're not going to amend the deed of gift. John Sweeney will never get the deed of gift amended, and Grant Dalton and his gang will never get it amended to accommodate ACP. It ain't going to happen. Mark my words. You get Ian to come, big fellow to come and do it, and the broadcasters already know what they're doing. Forget about these guys, the big, ESPN, NBC, your home unilateral broadcasters in your countries. You've got the CYCA, you've got the Royal Perth or the Royal Freshwater Bay, you got Balboa Yacht Club, you got New York Yacht Club broadcasting now different events, and to broadcast to cover match racing like we've been doing for almost, 10 years now at Balboa Yacht Club. I'm doing it, if I do say so myself, reasonably well, pretty darn well. It's not rocket science. And we can teach other people how to do that.
And it does take knowledge and a little bit of experience to do that, but
it's doable.
Of course,
it's doable. And Clayton Embley's right. Once you've got a team from a country racing another team, and you probably know the names, you know of the people that are racing. You're going to get top-notch sailors, and you're going to have watch parties. Andrew. Dolly DeVola says, I've just started an Etchells campaign, tough class with exceptional sailors. I'm enjoying a new challenge.
Well, good for him.
Okay, I'm not getting many comments. I wonder if I bored people to tears or if they're all sitting there, if you're all there cogitating and thinking, I haven't asked Gary and I haven't asked Ian Murray. But that's my proposal. It's as simple as that. The Simple Country Boys modest proposal for saving the Olympics. I want to use the word saving because I think the Olympics are going to be okay. You'll still have the laser. It's the best Olympic class going right now. You'll have a female women's laser and a men's laser. You'll have that. And I don't know what else you'll have, but that's way above my pay grade. World Sailing can do that. I've just solved the Olympic television and participation and cost issue because we all bring our own boats. The organizing committee doesn't have to supply them. We've got an understandable event that's easily televisable. What you do with the other classes, and I don't care. And I mean, I do care, but I'm not going to try to sort that out. Clay Embley says they're agreeing with you. Well, I don't know. I'll open a panel discussion sometime in the future after everybody has a chance to think about it. And if I'm wrong, I'm happy to admit it. Not really, but if you stop pontificating and lead a discussion, you may have more comments. Well, Steve, I'm very good at pontificating. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just laying out all the arguments. And I've thought, as I said, I've been sitting here in Studio B. I have this big screen, which isn't on right now, but I usually have some television show up there while I'm preparing our shows for Sailing Illustrated. Dogzilla Monster, and this is a good point, no pun intended, Stingray, the sharp end of sailing seems all pointed towards foilers. Well, that's patently absurd. You can't do that very easily at most yacht clubs. They're not very widely distributed. And if you want a foiler, great. If you want to put the Moth in or the Wasp or something, great.
Mm-hmm.
But for the event that's going to attract television and for the yacht club crowds, that's understandable, watching a bunch of Wasps go upwind on opposite tacks and ducking sterns, and it's not going to be that attractive, I don't think. Okay, any other comments before we move forward? We're in hour and a
What's
half.
the next? What are you going to do next?
That's it. I've just laid it out, and we'll let the smart people on here take it from here.
All right.
Not quite, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I mean, I can just lay this out, and hopefully
Somebody will,
delegates to
yeah.
World Sailing can put a proposal together and say, hey, that, that makes sense, or we need to amend this or that. But okay, I promised that to you. I didn't even promo it as the cover slide. Here's the cover slide for today's show, which we'll get to in a minute, the RORC Caribbean 600. I thought about having Tom's big proposal as the cover slide, and that's the purpose of the show today, but the main purpose, the main feature, but no. Julia?
sir.
We need to turn the audio up here a bit. What happened on this day in history? 1981.
81.
You want a clue?
Mm-hmm.
Here's your first clue. Any idea who that is? He's a sailor.
Yep.
Famously good sailor. In fact, we talked about him a lot last year in the latter part of the year.
Oh, Juan Carlos.
That's Juan Carlos. His
Yeah.
Majesty King
Yeah.
Juan Carlos the
Mhm.
First
Mm-hmm.
of Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened on this day? Well, he was, of course, born in Rome during his family's exile. Juan Carlos was named as the successor to the Spanish dictator Francisco Franco over his father. He became king on November 22nd, 1975, after Franco's death 2 days earlier, and the monarchy was thus restored. A lot of people thought he was going to echo and just be a Franco himself.
Mm.
Though he was by many to continue Franco's fascist and dictatorial policies, Juan Carlos is instead credited with beginning and supporting the Spanish transition to democracy, which culminated in a general election in 1977 and a new constitution, this is recently, it's 1978. An attempted coup was put down by the king on this day
Aha.
in 1981. And so you're not disappointed.
Yes.
On February 23rd, 1981, armed officers stormed Spain's parliament in an attempted coup. While the country froze in fear, King Juan Carlos I appeared on national TV in full military uniform. He condemned the coup, defended the democratic constitution, and ordered the military to remain loyal to the government. His bold move stopped the uprising overnight and saved Spain's fragile democracy, earning him the title of National Hero for a lifetime.
For a lifetime. He still's my hero. I think the guy's terrific. I've gotten to know him pretty well. I texted him today or this morning and said, hey, we're going to feature you on this day in history.
Oh, and he said?
I don't think I got a text back from him. Let me see if I did. I usually do, but usually on his birthday, and who knows what
Yeah.
time zone he's in. Don't see a text back from him. But nonetheless, famously cool guy, His Majesty King Juan Carlos. And it was on this day in history in 1981 that the Tejerazo, that was the Tejero was his name, wasn't it? A Spanish coup led by the Civil Guard officer, Lieutenant Colonel Antonio Tejero Molina. It failed after and he got on the tube. Remember, there was another one where they got guns into the parliament, and he went in there without a gun.
Right.
This was later, and he said, "Put down your bloody guns. I'm in charge here. You're not going to take this over." And they kind of were intimidated by him.
Yep.
And they went away. So that's what happened on this day in history. It was really started on the 23rd, and he wrapped it up with that television speech after midnight on the 24th. The country calmed down. The next morning, they arrested all the croutons, who then let the members of Parliament go free, and that was the end of that. Okay, Julia, the last leg with 20 minutes to go, and I've got two fabulous videos from the RORCs.
Oh, good.
We've been talking about this, and this was Magnus. We said last Friday, he wrote that fabulous article about the RORC. The Peerless RORC season is already in full swing, eyeing the 600. We talked last week about the Nelson's Cup, which was one of the lead-up regattas. And there's our super Fozy Andrew McIrvin, Mr. Doctor, watching from up on high as the Maxis were racing last week. And he's also chair of the IRC, of that rating committee, as well as the Secretary General of the IMA. So that's Andrew. I believe he's headed home. But in the meantime, the RORC has put out two videos. I'm not going to play the first preview video because it's about 15 minutes long. I'm just going to play part of it. I think the most interesting part, about 6 minutes long, and then I'll play the video from yesterday featuring the start. Yesterday was the start of the first of this 600-mile race.
So it's the 17th edition of the RORC Caribbean 600. We've got 57 boats starting with us, multi-hulls, mono-hulls, a huge variety of size boats, great level of sailors. We've got the professionals, pro-ams, Corinthians. It's lining up to be fantastic. Great trade wind conditions as per normal in the Caribbean. It's looking like a spectacular edition. The RORC Caribbean 600 always brings Antiguan local youth sailors into the sport. One boat we have this year is the Foiling F4 catamaran. It's a very cool boat, and it's great to have Rocco Falcone on the start line with his brother Shannon Falcone.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Antigua. I grew up just in here in English Harbor. And I've been watching the 600 start every year from when they started in about 2009. So it's a really special race for me. Falcon's a pretty small foiling boat, say, to go offshore. It's a pretty special cat. It's probably one of the first of its kind. It's a 40-foot foiling offshore catamaran. It's really built for offshore racing. The 600 will be a quick one for us. I think we're aiming to push hard, and but at the same time also trying to keep it safe. We know it can be tricky behind the islands, super shifty, super gusty, which for this boat it will be tricky. For sure, this program wouldn't be possible without my brother Shannon. He's the one that really developed the boat, and really pushed for this offshore sailing, offshore foiling for years now. And we have some locals on board. We have Louis on the bow, Vincent, who's stepped in now as a boat captain, and he'll be racing with us. And of course, Matteo, the owner, will be sailing with us. We have a Olympic sailor, maxi sailor, Iago, and Giulio, who's also with us. He brings a bunch of knowledge of offshore sailing. Mix of locals, young guns, and also experienced America's Cup, and solid team. I'm looking forward to it.
The line honours battle is going to be between the 100-footers for sure. We've got Blackjack 100 and Leopard 3. Leopard 3's obviously won this race before. It's won line honours and it's won it overall. And then we've got Blackjack 100 coming off of victories in the Rolex Middle Sea race and the Rolex Fastnet race. It's just going to be spectacular to watch them duel it out, and very interesting to see who'll come out on top in this one.
Leopard is a favorite of this race. They've been around the race for many times, many editions. This is our first edition. We are in the mindset that we are the outsiders. We are a young team. We have a lot to prove. Leopard will be stronger in full upwind mode, VMG, in more than 12 to 15 knots, then they will have a slight advantage over us, so we'll have to hang in there and stay close to them. And reaching also, I think above 15 knots, we will have very close speeds. We would not be able to catch up or pull away from them and vice versa. Other than that, I think we have a slight advantage, maybe full downwind VMG in any conditions, and in light air transitions, we will be strong. So if we do our sail changes well and we do our transitions well, it's going to be an interesting race because maybe there will be a bit of ping-pong game to the ranking. Hard to predict, but it's always difficult to be first in a race like that. You give an advantage to the second boat, which is the fact that he can track you ahead. When you are first, you are in danger because you slow down and the other boats behind you, they can watch that and they can attack. So that's where the challenge is in this race, is that whichever boat will take the lead will be in a defensive position at each transition. Every race is long and you win it at the finish line or lose it at the finish line. There is no bad scenario. When you win, it's great. When you don't, you keep working harder, you improve, you learn something. We want to learn, we want to have fun, we want to enjoy the water. Antigua, yeah, it's fantastic. We are very privileged and super lucky to be here.
And the video goes on and reviews some of the other classes. A fabulous video. Mm-hmm. Bravo salute to the Royal Ocean Racing Club, Antigua Yacht Club. And Ted Ryman saying, nice video, my kind of sailing. Mm-hmm. Ryman's birthday was yesterday, wasn't it? Wasn't Ted's birthday yesterday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
Yes. Happy birthday to you.
Ted, and many returns. Best wishes for your belated best wishes for your birthday and for many more. Here's the course for this race. And I mean, we've had it on our cover slide, but they start there in English Harbor. They go up to Codrington, then over to Charleston, then up and around Anguilla, then all the way back past Montserrat, down around Guadalupe, and then back up. And they do that little triangle to get it up to 600. They do that triangle from Codrington over to whatever that thing is. Remember, there was controversy a couple of years ago. And then the final leg back into to English Harbor. That's the race course. A nice, clear picture of it. And the first race was yesterday. We'll review all this again on Friday. But here is the start of yesterday's race.
This is our fourth time around the track on this boat.
It's an area we have never sailed. We've never sailed this race.
It's a cruiser racer, so we're sailing a house around the coast.
We have a problem because the chef, she is Mexican, so she put a lot of pepper But some of the Puerto Ricans, they don't like so spicy.
When he says a lot of pepper, that means like tears coming out of your eyes. I cried yesterday, okay? I cried.
The conditions will be typical Antigua conditions, 15 knots, wavy and hot water, nice sun, would be great.
Wind a bit more south than normal, which is going to change the course a bit, change kind of the key play areas. But with this southerly wind, it's not helping us go down to Guadeloupe and come back quickly. So we'll deal with what we got, and the main aim is to finish in front of Zulu.
What I'm looking forward is to enjoy every moment, and I hope that all my crew members will enjoy every moment of this race.
The start of the 600 is just epic. I mean, Antigua is such a beautiful place to sail, and then you have the maxis running you over while you desperately try and avoid their dirt. It's pretty exciting.
We're adjusting the position of the outer distance mark slightly, and we will advise you once it's in position. Ocean 1 out.
Welcome to the 2026 edition of the RORC Caribbean 600. We're on the start line above Antigua's iconic Pillars of Hercules, Fort Charlotte. Right now, the fleet are getting ready to charge into the 600-mile race around 11 Caribbean islands. This is where the RORC Caribbean 600 begins. Among the 14 boats competing in IRC2, Cox of Dunlop's Mojito made a sharp inshore start, timing their run to the line with perfection. Everyone in the class got away cleanly and in good order. Once again, it was a busy start in IRC1 at the pin end. However, Hervé Gruneg's Swan 56 Azahar got a great start inshore. At that pin end, it was most certainly Ricky and Maxitude that got away well. In IRC0, it was a full-blooded duel at the start between Nicholas Enstrom's Ran and Frederick Pouzan's Carkeet 54 Daguet, going barreling into the cliffs, literally side by side. A battle royal is clearly set between these two. In IRC Super Zero, Balthasar got a great start in the pin, but was soon overhauled by Blackjack 100 and Leopard 3. These two are odds-on favourite for monohull line honours. In the 11-strong multi-hull class, once again the pin was busy. Argo stayed out of trouble, went round the outside and crossed the line a good 100 metres ahead of their arch rivals Final Zulu. The RORC Caribbean 600 is now fully underway, and the battles taking shape promise to intensify as the fleet powers deeper into the Caribbean Offshore Classic.
Nice video. Did you see what David James said?
No.
If God chose a place to start and race a race course, this is what he would come up with.
Yes.
Or she, if it's God's a she.
Yes.
Chris Fury, 100% Chris. RORC really know how to promote sailing. And I like Rick's comment, especially Rick Banderow, greater focus on storytelling. I like that whole first couple minutes of that video.
Mm-hmm.
Adds character and personality to the whole event.
Right.
Couldn't agree more, Rick. Really nice videos. Bravo Zulu to the RORC. We'll cover it as well as Sail GP's, a preview of, well, its racing is Saturday, Sunday down under. It's Friday night, Saturday night here on the West Coast. That's it for this show, except for the D block, Julia. I just have three of these. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot in honor of a couple of the holidays that have been going on. Remember that you are but dust, and into dust you shall return. You are but dust. B-U-T-T.
Yep.
That's a typo on this card. Proofreading is next to godliness. Whoever put that card out and didn't read that, or maybe they did it on purpose.
Oh, yes.
Claire sent this. She always sends the clean ones. They just are a little edgy. Yeah, Greg Norman, who's in London, says, yeah, that was a great video. And he's a videographer as well. The guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
As I get older, I don't really sleep anymore. It's more of a doze between pee breaks. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Well, Greg Phillips sent that. Thanks, Greg. And we always wrap up with Blake Middleton's All the Smartest People Sail, Mr. Einstein, and my dad, who likes to say, sailing isn't for everybody, but it is
for anybody.
For anybody. Absolutely. It is for anybody. It gets us to the finish line, Julia, where you like to say,
yes, don't miss the opportunity to like and follow and share. People discover us every week thanks to you.
Comments are welcome, even in replay. We're one of the few live video podcasts that leave them open after the show, but we go back and check, and because our clientele, our viewers, our FOSI, Friends of Sailing Illustrated, are so proper, so polite, and they are not croutonic. Sailing Illustrated appreciates very much your support, whether it's sending in content, cartoons, but also your financial support. This is viewer-supported media via patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. Thank you for your support. Much appreciated, Julie, which gets us to the finish line for audio, images, and the video. We like to thank the people, especially Corey Silken. You liked his photos, didn't you?
Oh, yes, they were wonderful.
And, those of us who spend time, I used to live there, so I know what winters can be like in Newport, but for those of us who don't otherwise get there, except in the summer, to see it piled high with 30-plus inches of snow.
I know. That's great.
Thanks to all of you. Clark's already shared it. Joe, Jody, Chris, and all the rest of you. Blake, thank you very much. Thanks to these folks for their contributions. Thanks, John Colling.
Welcome to the
And just a reminder, this weekend, and we'll have a preview on Friday. The race time is 17:30 Australia local in Sydney. On Saturday, Sunday, 6:30 UTC, Saturday and Sunday, and Friday and Saturday nights here on the West Coast, 22:30 or 01:30 on the East Coast. Our Friday night and Friday evening and Saturday evening, late.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do a preview. Have a great rest of your week. Julia, thank you very much.
Indeed.
How's your new mic?
Take a bite out of it.
Thanks all. We'll see you on Friday.
Yeah.